Hi everyone, this is Brian Hayes, and welcome to an introduction to the Fender 6-string electric bass guitar. This is a fabulous, unique instrument. As a multi-instrumentalist and long-term guitarist, I love using this instrument when I need to play the bass guitar, or when I want to add some effects that I can't find by playing a standard acoustic guitar or even an electric guitar in combination with various effect pedals. The Fender 6-string bass was introduced to the world in 1961. It was Fender's answer to the original 6-string electric bass produced by Dan Electro in 1956. The Fender 6-string bass uses a shorter scale neck, a 30-inch scale neck. This particular bass has 21 frets on it, so its top note is high C sharp. It uses lighter gauge strings than you would find on a 4 or 5 string bass, but importantly, it plays and feels very much like a 6-string guitar. The tension on the strings is beautifully soft. The frets are the low profile, wider style frets, very easy on the hand. And we'll have a look through all the various features of this instrument and then play a few demonstration tracks showcasing the chameleon nature of this instrument and the many different things that it can help you create in music. Just before we move forward and have a detailed look at the many features of this beautiful instrument, I think it's worth stopping for a moment and looking at the list of absolutely legendary records that were made using the Fender 6 bass. In the time of the Beatles, George Harrison played the Fender 6 on both Hey Jude and Back in the USSR. John Lennon with the Beatles played the Fender bass on The Long and Winding Road and on Helter Skelter. Joe Perry from Aerosmith used it on Back in the Saddle. The great Wes Montgomery played the Fender 6 bass on his LP album Moving Along. John Entwistle from The Who and Jack Bruce from Cream, Rick Danko from the band, the list just goes on and on of famous players and legendary recordings where the Fender 6 was part of the sounds that differentiated those wonderful hit songs. We'll start by having a look at the overall body shape of the Fender 6 bass. So you can see it's got a unique cutaway here. The shape is a little bit like the vintage Fender Jaguar guitar, but it is unique. The cutaways are unique. The back is like the Stratocaster shaped and sculptured back. This is obviously in sunburst colour that I've got, although they come in various colours. The electronics and the look and feel of the headstock, everything about it is sort of retro, deliberately so. It is a reissue. This particular version of the Fender 6 I've got is the Fender Squire. This is made in Indonesia under licensing from Fender, but it's beautifully made. The craftsmanship is first class. The finish absolutely beautiful. Maple neck with a rosewood inlay. Great classy looking fret position markers. 3 single coiled pickups. Interestingly and notably, a tremolo arm or whammy bar on a bass guitar. Very, very rare, but that came out. That's part of the features that distinguish this, because this, as I said, is a real chameleon instrument. It feels and plays like a guitar, but it can very much be a very effective electric bass guitar and a unique sort of sounding guitar, which you'll hear in a moment. So we've got 3 single coil pickups. Instead of a multiple selector toggle switch, the Fender 6 bass has 4 individual on-off sliders. So the first slider button here, or switch, is for the front pickup, the neck pickup, and the pickup is either on or off. The second is for the middle pickup, The third is for the third pickup, so you can get all the combinations of those 3 pickups by having these sliders either in the off or the on position. The fourth slider is an interesting one. It's a bass cut. Because this instrument is both a bass guitar and can be played like a guitar, even though it's 1 octave down, Fender wisely put in a bass cut switch, because when you're playing it like a guitar, you don't want all of that low-end booming sort of bass, but when you play it like a bass, it's great to be able to have the normal, full, rich bass sound. The tremolo arm works fantastic, and we'll have a listen to all of those things. It's got 2 knobs on it, just a master volume, just a volume and a tone. The tone reacts with all of the pickups, as does the volume. The standard 6.5 input mono input jack. On the back, we have the bolt-on neck. Now, interestingly, with this incredibly deep cutaway here, and just the nature of how this neck is sculptured, one of my bugbears that I normally really don't like as a player, the bolt-on necks, you really don't notice it too much at all on this bass because the cutaway is just so deep and it's sculptured well that when you play down here, you know, it's more or less your thumb rather than the heel or the palm of your hand getting bashed against that big block where the neck's bolted on. So the design is really ergonomically very good on this guitar, and it is the same as it came out in 1961. For this first demonstration track, I want to feature the Fender 6 bass in a traditional jazz bass setting. I'll be playing with a jazz drummer and jazz piano player in a trio setting, and using just my fingers on the right hand with the bass as a jazz bass player normally would, and just so you can hear how effective this instrument can be in the traditional bass player's role. This next clip still features the Fender 6 bass in a trio setting, but this time it's a much more modern affair. With heavy metal guitar and rock drums, here's the Fender 6 playing a modern bass guitar role. I want to showcase the Fender 6 bass now more in the style as a guitar player would think when they play, not as a bass player. So this next short clip is me just improvising in solo guitar, thinking as a guitarist would, but I'm sure you'll agree the rich sound of the Fender 6 bass really gives the guitar a whole new perspective. I hope you've enjoyed that brief introduction to the legendary Fender 6-string electric bass guitar. It really is a unique instrument, and if you're a guitar player that occasionally needs to play bass, definitely check it out. As always, keep in touch via my website. That's www.brianhayes.biz, B-I-Z. Drop me an email if you have any questions about the Fender 6-string bass, or keep in touch via my YouTube channel. It's easy to subscribe to it. That way you'll be kept up to date when I load new videos on the many exciting instruments that I play and teach. So long for now.